Alright, good evening, Star Wars CCGers. Jared Napolitano, JNAP here again. We're going to try to take two on the lrcraft3 versus rsersen. Pretty crucial Jawa Cup 2021 Game 6 match. But first, we're going to, I have the replay for the game I started streaming last night that bailed out just because it was getting pretty late. So Brandon, aka Killer Huey, sent me the replay, so I figured maybe I'll just play this. I was going to do it at the end of Ryan and Rich's game, but it seems like they might start a couple minutes late, so maybe we have around 10 minutes here to kind of go through this. So I thought maybe it'd be kind of cool to see it through, but yeah. So maybe I'll just type that in the chat. Finishing up the game I started right here. Rsersen versus Craft. So I had a bunch of questions. I mean, I definitely need to apologize because I was wondering, oh, why, is Brandon considering blowing away Bespin and kind of wrecking everything? But of course, I should have RTFC, read the card. Set your course does not allow dark side to target, basically any system besides a few, like Hoth, Alderaan, Yavin 4. So so that is why, one of the reasons why Brandon probably wasn't like retrieving or worrying about getting CPI back, Command Barbarian Ignition back, because he wasn't gonna realistically or even possibly blow away Bespin. So this was stuff that we saw, and this was where Aglitz was going pretty wide on Bespin. And was starting to really set up a lot of small drains of one and really starting to shut down Brandon's damage. Brandon said that this became quite a chess match at the end, which is what I kind of anticipated, and that's why I didn't stay up, frankly, because I feel like it could have gone on for a while. And I was getting really tired, and but this is kind of neat that hopefully we can finish off. So thanks to Brandon for providing this. I know there's a couple times I questioned why he wasn't paying 3 to retrieve, even when he only had like 2 cards in his lost pile, just because getting cards back would be good. But getting Commence Primary Ignition back didn't really have any value. It'd just be like a floating 0. So it really was kind of like, it had value in that as a card, but could have come back to hurt him. So here we kind of see, it looked like it was just going to be a drain race here. Both players around, upper teens in Life Force, dead even on hand. One of the things with these replays is you hope that there's no like revert that breaks it. But out comes Lobot and Baragwin and Pukimir, and that's pretty good. Pretty good. So now the client's activated here with Aura at a battleground. Landing cost covering the drain. Aglitz is going to be putting Menace Fades in order. Leia Rebel Princess is going to shut down some drains on Cloud City. Brandon's going to get some force back here. Deploy Star Destroyer for 5. Deploy -3. Retrieve 3 force. Gets back an artillery. And Emperor Palpatine. So that's pretty nice 6/7 stack. But he's not. Maybe we'll be able to activate down and set those up. So he's got a bunch of interesting interrupts in hand here. Good for battling. And Brandon's just going to deploy in front of Maz and Lobot, and then move in front of Jedi Ray. This could remove away. We saw, I think it's Lift Tube Escape allows him to move away, which is grabbed over here. Does the Maz, verifies Jar Jar. Resurrect from that battle. Yeah, so I guess he figures he don't want that to happen. So Brandon's just cycling cards with Forlom. Din is the only card in Aglit's reserve deck here. Not generally what you want to see, a Destiny 1. So it's not like Jedi Ray's going to be fighting here. She's going to be running away, probably into the guest quarters with Aura. Out comes the crucial Cloud City site, and Rose for more retrieval. Wow, yeah, so there's a lot of options for retrieval here. And here he goes, Obi-Wan to keep your eyes open. Jar Jar, wow, there's a lot of characters. Here comes Cloud City, or keep your eyes open, V, to prevent R from shooting at Yoda. He's going to draw 1, which then Brandon plays use close call V, which is huge. So now he's probably not going to lose anybody. So Tim is going to have to kind of pivot here and make sure he doesn't get... so Jar Jar's going to die. And Yoda is immune. And probably a bunch of moves here. So yeah, as Brandon said, chess match towards the end. Menace Fades is turned on, so these drains are not going to be as potent, because this makes it your force drains at battleground systems where you have a Star Destroyer each +2, but that's negated with Menace Fades in effect. So 13 to 20. So Dark is definitely got more force. He's going to force push for something that he really wants. Force Lightning and Command to go back, and he gets Allegiant Pride. Probably a good route then to throw at Rey. Throw out the 2 Jedi here, actually. He's going to drain for 1, 1, and then 1 at the platform, it looks like. Ping for 1 with Client. So chipping him down. So QMC is getting pretty low on Life Force, even though... I guess he's not going to... Oh, well, no. The drain at the platform was canceled, looks like. Here comes Vader. He's just going to block that. Pride. So he's not going to... Oh, he's going to add against Rey. So that's going to be 2 Battle Destiny. He's going to make sure that Lobot doesn't allow anybody to play from reserve deck as a react. He's going to get 2 Battle Destiny because of Pride. Attrition's going to be, what, +1? While Emperor on table. Yeah. Attrition against opponent, +1 for each first order. So that's going to be 8 attrition, which is going to kill... Depends on who he loses, but probably 3 things, actually, unless he loses Lobot and Maz. Or he could lose Lobot, Rey, or Lobot, Rose, and the lift tube if he wants. And he loses Lobot and Rey. Oh, yeah, that's right. What's Rey? I keep calling her Rey. Rose, 4-2. Lobot's forfeit, 5. I don't know what I missed there. Shouldn't have been 8 attrition. I wonder... 5-2 total. Oh, Maz subtracted 1 from the total. There we go. So yeah, so that's all good. And now I imagine there's going to be a lot of moves that happen here at the end of the game, and just kind of chipping away damage and figuring out who's going to squeak it out. So let me speed this up. A lot of red cards in Brandon's hand here. That's his perspective. Looks like he's got not much damage queued up. Really just like 2. Whereas Light is going to be able to do 1, 2. That's it. But they're going to retrieve with Rey. Or no, more than that. 3, because Pukimir adds 1 to that drain. So this is where QMC tries to stabilize. He still has the Walkling retrieval he could do. Brandon's reserve deck has a lot of high destiny. Gets a cold feet. Padme V comes down, so she's going to cancel Vader's immunity. Battle Destiny 5. Oh, and the new set 17 is going to make total Battle Destiny -1. But Vader's going to go, as is Padme. And Brandon's just going to cycle his cold feet, play another card, play another shield. Lightside's going to battle at this system. And Conquest is going to move. Oh boy. Oh boy. That definitely seems like... And then Tim concedes. Wow. Okay. Yeah, so that's definitely an oversight. That binder allows... your starters may move 2 here as a react. So both these guys came over from other systems, and then Vengeance is going to ping for 1. It looks like, isn't Tarkin here? Yeah, he's going to add 1. Is that Thrawn? Oh, it's Grand Admiral Thrawn V, so not the one that adds. But yeah, this is probably going to be a bunch of overflow. Clearly Tim probably doesn't have Hujix, or even if he does, this is going to set him back a lot, because it's going to be hard for him. No. Yeah, I imagine he does have the Hujix. It's probably the case. So yeah, so that's the replay. Let's go to the lobby. Good game, both these players. Good job participating in the second Jawa Cup. Let me scroll down here. I might just pause this if the guys haven't started yet. There are going to be a few more minutes. 17 games going on. One Jawa Cup that just ended. Dan with the win. Nice job, Dan, over my guy Wayne. That was ASM versus Skywalker Saga. Looks like it was the Anakin one. So Rich just put me 2-minute warning. Perfect. I'm ready. All right. So, and that was 1 minute ago. So looks like this is gonna get started real soon. So I could do some. Let me just ping here. Starting. Expected to start in a minute or two. So yeah, so like I said, this is basically like a win and in game. Again, this is Jared Napolitano, JNAP here, marketing advocate for the PC. This is going to be a pretty big game because it's win and in, and Taco Bill was saying, Taco Bill, of course, the tournament director for the Jawa Cup here, the 2021, we'll call it the 2021-2022 Jawa Cup. He was saying that Rich's strength of schedule isn't too great, so even though he's one of the 3 5-0s entering Game 6, I wouldn't say he's guaranteed, and he probably isn't guaranteed an in. There can be as many as 3 5-1s, I believe. I think Bill said that the chaos theory, there's going to be 1 6-0 and 10 5-1s, which would mean that 3 5-1s miss the cut to the top 8, which would be bummer. And yeah, so that's just kind of how the strength of schedule works. And there was some discussion on the Slack today about, sometimes it's just unfair. It depends on what opponent you get, and if you get the bye, when you get the bye. Like I know Kuhn, he got it in his first game, which, he didn't do anything wrong. It's not like he even lost a game at that point, but that might work against him and be the difference. He did lose one game, so it's not like, I think what JJD was saying is basically you always control your destiny, you just win out, and hey, everything takes care of itself. But yeah, it is kind of a bummer if you get the bye in like the first game, and then that actually works against you, in any sense really, or even the second game, because you could theoretically lose your first game, get the bye, and then just win a bunch in a row, and then like maybe you had a really tough opponent in that first game as well. So there's possibly if 3 players who go 5-1 and miss it, it could be maybe 1 that misses it, I think, depending on how things shake out. But this is, I think if Ryan wins this, he's in, because he's going to be 5-1 with a good, strong opponent here in Game 6, probably bringing up his SOS. Rich, I don't know if his opponent's Game 6s have gone kind of adversely for him. And as I mentioned on the stream last night that I started kind of like the false start since this got postponed, Ryan is my teammate, so I'll try not to be biased at all. But the approach that we were talking about against Rich, I always knew him as a pretty good Legend player. I think he finished in the top 8 last year at the GemPC and played Legend a bunch, and a lot of the events that he played in. I think he's had some good Yavin 4 league showings, and we knew that he played Watcher Step in at least one Jawa Cup game so far. So we talked about Black Sun just being a good balanced deck that would be pretty good against Watcher Step, and potentially, Legend would be a little tougher, but there's some, anticipation and tech cards in here for the new Legend, especially as it should be. I like Adam's comment, 6-0. So I know some people, including a 2-time defending reigning world champion Joe Olsen, thinks that this matchup heavily favors Black Sun. I think it does favor Black Sun, but I wouldn't say it's like, maybe I've just played against some pretty good Watcher Step players. That there's been, as Ryan shows, his 2 quietly observing V aliens, which are Erica V and Mitt, which are my 2 kind of staple ones. The approach here, so you see that V13 Best Smuggler round card. Black Sun's kind of has to keep Luke off the table, but of course there's lots of evasion. Black Sun can make that Kessel Drain get capped to 2 pretty easily because the entire plan for Black Sun is to be on 3 battlegrounds, so you can do the draw with Shadows of the Empire. And my approach is kind of like, have the pieces in place that when you do attack Luke or attack anywhere on the ground, that you're not just getting, outsmarted or I shouldn't say outsmarted, crafted by, well, no pun intended with Richcraft, the tricks that Watch Your Step can put out, like dodge and it's a trap and blast the door kid or fallen portal, all that stuff. So Ryan's first action is to deploy. I usually always do the square first, because even if you miss, you give your opponent a verify, but you really can't afford to miss the Vigo V pull, because that's a once per game. So unless I'm missing something, but I think Ryan got, the odds are there that he gets the Vigo V, but yeah, now he's going to pull Caesar's Palace with the Vigo V, but that's so critical. If you whiff on that, you're set back big time, because that's the chain to get out your locations, your activation. And yeah, now he's going to pull out the uplink station, which is the middle site. So he open-handed the square, so obviously he still could have used shadows to search. But I guess maybe his gamble was, hey, if I miss with the Vigo, I'm just going to draw up. But the risk is that like Jodo Cast, who can be deployed because he has Black Sun, or Guri even, who's a 6 deploy cost. If you hit on them, you have to deploy them, and then now you're in some trouble, because now you really have to have a hard time finding it. But it worked out for Ryan here, and he's going to move over, flip, pretty standard turn 1 for Black Sun. No, I don't think he did at all. Good job, Dan. Nice win with. Oh, I didn't want to steal your thunder. I knew you were streaming your own game. That's why I didn't want to jump in there. But yeah, sorry, Wayne, on the loss. I saw Dan was using Scott's new effect with the unlimited power. Okay, so again, standard Ryan looks like he drew a card or two. He played Fanfare, so either he has Caesar's Bounty or he's about to have it in his hand. I think he did pull it. Watch Your Step. I imagine the game plan here is... This is actually my first game at Worlds. I played this against Josh Mack, was playing Watch Your Step. He was doing, I think he had 2 or 3 Kessel runs in there. And eventually, and he had Luke, Farm Boy Luke, in Red 5 in space, which is like the best thing that Black Sun can want. Because if Luke never goes to the ground in this matchup, I think it definitely heavily favors Black Sun. If he does go to the ground with like Old Man Luke, then it's the goal of Black Sun is to just take care of Luke, either get him off the table or capture him, which is what happened when I played Joe in last year's Worlds. I think it was game 9. It was Joe's only loss, but he made a silly mistake because he knew it was in my reserve. I played Hidden Weapons. He caused a redraw with Luke. I think what I drew was like best case scenario that I hit him, and he caused a redraw, and I think I either made him immediately lost or captured him. And then I think just the way the board state was at that point, it worked out. So out comes Corellia, which is actually Richcraft's player card. Original concept by Richcraft. He and he got this as a V-Light in 2020, and he actually was entitled to a main design, but I don't know how exactly the process landed. But he went forward with Corellia V to help Watch Your Step. So clearly has an affinity for Watch Your Step. But like I said, I feel like I saw him playing Legend a lot last year, so I thought maybe he might have pivoted back to that. Out comes Myrax and Wedge V to Pulsar Skate at Corellia, which of course there's a little bit of a deploy reduction here, because Freighters and Freighters and Smugglers are both deploy -1. Corellians and Freighters. So yeah, so he's going out there. No, I was saying let's see. What Dan's joshing me in the chat. Let's see. I felt that was a risky pull. Got me some Golosimo. No, the silly thing I did against Josh was so back when like set 13 first came out, I played against Tom Kelly in this matchup, Black Sun versus Watch Your Step, and he did this. Whatever he did, he deployed to like Corellia and Kessel, and he put Kessel Run on Kessel, and I had Alter V in my hand, and even despite Kessel V, I was able to alter Kessel Run, because that gets around the objective. So when I was playing Josh, I like had that stuck in my head, but then as long as Lightside occupies Kessel V, Dark cannot cancel it. So I made like one silly play there. Also, I played like Coward at one point, and he just like moved a ship and turned it off. But playing against Josh, when he had Luke in space, that was kind of like a good game. Just because he was never shutting off my my pings and the attrition bonuses. And I think I eventually got somebody at the Cantina and grabbed it to hit. And it was pretty far ahead of the damage race. And Watch Your Step does not have a lot of, if it does attack you, it needs really like 3 or 4 smugglers to come at you, including like Chewie. So Rich moves to Tatooine here. Battle Plane comes out. Ryan's got 13 force to work with. Out comes Secret Plans, which makes sense. Especially, anticipating Kessel Run. Very few matchups will Secret Plans shield burn you. So again, just to recap, this is basically a win and in here, Game 6 of the Jawa Cup. A lot on the line here. I know, again, I'm going to try to be as objective as possible, but also rooting a little bit for Ryan, because he would very likely join Ryan Jellison, and of course the only 6-0 in the field, our new technology advocate, Adam, Echo Base Trooper Fletcher, as 3 Team Moneyball players in the top 8 of the Jawa Cup. And that'd be a really cool accomplishment for the team. So out comes Emperor to the uplink station. He's probably going to try to set up like 2 ping damage here. You move the Vigo over, and then you have Shizor's Bounty that you can use, or Shizor's Bounty, against anyone that tries to attack the Emperor. Against Watch Your Step, I usually don't. Against like a mains, I might feel the need to consolidate like all 3 at one location, just because they got tricks like Mess and Clash and stuff like that. The Sewer's not out yet, so here comes Zam. So that'll be the Black Sun agent for. It's always interesting to see what Watch Your Step, what like Luke package they use. Like I said, some even use like Space Luke, some will use Old Man Luke, and some will use like Luke Skywalker Rebel Scout. And usually they're floating like a Luke Saber in those latter 2 cases, because these 3 starting effects are so critical. Squadron assignments and imbats. So Ryan's just going to put out Zam, draw a couple, perfectly content, probably just forcing through 2 damage for free. Rich is probably not going to be spending 3 of his precious, 12 total force to drain for 1. So he's going to be safe there. Ryan will be safe there from damage, that is. Yeah, Ryan Jellison's been on our team probably way back to the NPC. I know him and I were the only 2 that actually played in the NPC back in April from our team. So yeah, I think he joined like February or March. And then Matt Wadden joined maybe a month or 2 after that. So we have 6 of us. Stubbley was banned from this event because he made the OCS. I was kicked out of this event because Joe graciously drafted me for the Outrider Cup team. And then we had, Wadden, who I know played against Jellison, I think. I know we have 2 losses to each other, but have done really well otherwise. All right, so Kessel V is taken into hand. Gotta figure Rich is probably going to want to set up that drain of 3, which will almost certainly be capped at 2 via resistance at some point. It's probably Ryan's 4th shield pull that he's got in mind. Actually I take that back. So he's got to pull the Watch Your Step shield. So hopefully he finds his cold feet for his sake. Out comes the Moisture Farm from reserve deck. No, from hand. Maybe that was stuck in his force pile. Because surprised that's not out yet. Wasn't pulled on turn 1. Maybe for turn 1 it was in the force pile. And Richie's going to flash Millennium Falcon, 3/4, going to deploy Han, and flip because he occupies 2 locations with a smuggler. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, so Ryan does use his 4th shield pull, unless I missed a cold feet. But I wonder if that, I think I mentioned that before, or maybe I haven't. That would be kind of a cool feature because I don't think it does that. I know I'm on the new interface, but I don't think the current one, and if Adam's watching, maybe he can say, it'd be kind of cool to just be able to click on the starting effects and know how many shields have been pulled so far. Here comes Kessel Run. I don't think it does that, but maybe I'm mistaken. Yeah, and that's where we kind of talk the game plan here. Like if Rich can set up a Kessel or put Luke at like the Cantina and set up a couple of hefty drains and have Ryan on the 0 side, that's really good for Rich. But if you're Ryan here, you got 12 cards in your hand. Luke is probably not coming out this turn. So he's going to have the deck manipulation where he can, find key cards in his force pile if need be. He can spend 3 to drain and then draw a card. Like he can do some stuff to try to find the key card in his force pile, like a hidden weapons or, something to cancel a dodge, like stuff like that that Rich might be relying on to keep Luke on the table. But in the meantime, it looks like Ryan's going to be getting 2 damage through on the objective. Probably going to set up somewhere and draw with shadows to get another ping in. And Rich only has 4 cards in hand, so he kind of really needs to restock a little bit. Falcon moves to Kessel. He's going to do the pluck a card off with Coaxium. And then, of course, Han has that cool, which is a thematic thing because he made the Kessel Run in less than 12 parsecs. He can take the last card off whenever. Right? If exactly 1 Coaxium card here may take it into hand, which is a pretty cool thematic wrinkle way back in V13, which was the set that was released, like a month before 2020 Online Worlds, which had kind of a... Or was that 14? 13 was definitely Shadow, Collective, and Watch Your Step got beefed up with the solo theme. Was the Overpowered Hitco, was that V14 or 13? I think that was also 13, like Hunt Down V. I think was that same set. Yeah, no, V14 was like Jedi Ray. Yeah. Alright, so Rich just replenished his hand, which is probably good, definitely a good plan. Probably found a Luke, would be my guess. Or at least found like a controlled tunnel vision that he could use to find a Luke. He's activating 16 next turn, which is pretty healthy. Brian's got 15. I don't know where the sewers are, but he's probably going to want to get that out at some point. He peeks at his force pile, again, to try to probably figure out where his key cards are. I was not a fan of Ryan. Yeah, the interesting thing with Watch Your Step is they actually have the one answer, the Control Tunnel Vision, to cancel Shizor's Bounty. Although I feel like, Hujik's top decked. But of course it could be played from Lost. Nothing's ever really gone with Watch Your Step. To quote one of the newer movies. And he loses, top decks a Old Man Luke. Here comes Phalene's Fist. So Ryan's now going to set up so he can satisfy battle plan, presumably. And out comes Bosk. So now that's a battleground. He's on 3 battlegrounds. Bosk, of course, is pretty good against Watch Your Step because he prevents opponent from drawing more than 1 battle destiny. If there's a smuggler here, or Wookiee, But, late side can still play all wings to spin through that and draw a second. Ryan does the draw to force a ping, because he's on 3 battlegrounds. Very early life force count. Ryan's up 31 to 24 cards down, and he's got 3 more cards in hand. Okay, so Ryan plays the Cold Feet, which may or may not have been the card that he was trying to fish out there, but maybe just drew it last turn. So he gets resistance, which is key. And now if you're Ryan, you're probably just in prevent mode, in terms of Coruscant. He probably just wants to make sure those 3 locations are fine and not impeded by, a bunch of smugglers. But also he's probably going to want to try to find pieces to take out Luke if and when he shows up. Would be my bet. Because of course Kessel Run's going to retrieve, 4. Rich might even have a second Kessel Run. But, if Rich is paying 3 to drain 2, probably not paying 3 to drain 1. He's doing 2 damage, whereas Ryan's got, and he's going to get the bonus here because the fist is at Coruscant. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 with the ping. So, yeah, Ryan's in good shape there. Even though, Rich might get some cards back with Kessel Run, but he's got to get to the ground at some point, which is where Ryan needs to then anticipate, all right, I got to make sure that Luke doesn't get out here and keep me flipped, because that'll take away 2 free damage a turn. Obviously, it'll satisfy battle plan for him, so that puts dodge in use pile. I do wonder if Ryan's intentionally holding back the sewer, or maybe just hasn't found it. Quick plug for the donations program. The AI, which I think is for the $50 tier and up, is the Dark Side Coruscant V, which is really cool. Also, plug for Holo Theater tomorrow night. Definitely tune in. Dan is going to be spoiling all 18 of the AIs for the 2022 year. So 9, well, I guess it's 7 for the OCS, 2 for Online Play Week, which everyone knows those already, and then the 9 and the 9 in what I'll call the chase set, which is for majors, and one of those was already announced, the Coruscant one, which I'm just referencing. That's the donations one. And there's a bunch of stuff like top 8 foils and the NPC one and the Worlds one, pre-registration stuff. There's going to be a Twitch AI, which is new, so tune in to find out which one that is. So really cool stuff, and of course Kevin Yap, takes care of printing just about all those. Scott helps sometimes in a pinch, but the AIs are pretty much Kevin's domain, so always thank him when you can. As I was babbling, Ryan drew up to 14. Looks like Rich wanted to activate a little bit different, probably 3, and then play Walkling and maybe pull Projection of a Skywalker or pull second Kessel Run. So everyone check out the donations program if you're interested, and watch Holo Theater tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be a recap show. Dan's going to be raffling off a free entrance fee to the NPC. Very nice. And it should be a really cool episode. And then the week after that, as has been announced in a few places, Taco Bill's going to be the guest. May or may not be debuting the full NPC bracket, and is also going to be helping Dan determine the Outrider Cup matchups. Since Bill's going to be our impartial deck list receiver, and he's going to help put together the grid of who's playing what, because that'll be really cool. Feature of the new Outrider Cup format is you're going to know who's playing what deck and when they're, and who's playing whom. And then if there's a certain matchup that really piques your interest, you can definitely make it a point to, follow when the matchup's going to be played and when it'll be streamed. Hopefully, I'm sure Dan will do a great job of coordinating the streaming for all those Outrider Cup games. There's going to be a lot of streaming, so as we see a drain of 3 from Rich at Kessel, which is going to be capped. But that's my plug. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, because the replays will be uploaded there. So Wars CCG on YouTube. Make sure you follow the Twitch account, and just follow the Twitter at SWCCG to kind of stay in tune of Jawa Cup top 8 matches, Outrider Cup matches, and maybe there might be a couple Gem PC matches as well. Batmouse's 6 Gem PC. that might get streamed if, you know, as that event goes along, the matchups will probably get juicier and juicier, but maybe there'll be a couple here and there that are streamed in the earlier rounds as well. Maybe Dan will stream his matches again like he has for Jawa Cup. All right, so Projection of a Skywalker does go on to the uplink station, which takes that from a drain of 2-1. Rich is going to play Jedi Lev to retrieve a certain character, and it's Luke. So yeah, so maybe Rich was pretty. So I would presume that none of the other 7 cards in his hand are Luke. Here comes Luke. He's going to flip him back. He's going to get a Must Be Led to Speak V pull from use pile, which is pretty hefty use pile there, 15 cards. Maybe a Luke's lightsaber, some type of evasion like a barrier. Maybe he has a lightsaber and he's getting like Clash of Sabers. Probably not looking for It's a Trap with only 2 Force active. I would presume it's either something. It's got to be something to help keep Luke on the table, because it'd be, not ideal to spend 9 Force between retrieving Luke and deploying him, and then just having Ryan take him out. So I imagine he's finding something to help keep Luke on the table during Ryan's upcoming turn 4. Yeah, life force counts. It looks like it's 25 and 8 is 33 for Rich. Ryan's at 26 and 15 is at 41. So Ryan is ahead, but Luke coming out is big. You always wonder with these Watch Your Step decks, sometimes there could be 2 or 3 Kessel runs. They get placed out of play once they're completed, but they can't keep like recurring themselves, which is pretty NPE. And okay, so Rich then puts one of the coaxium cards in his use pile, which is the control combo. So yeah, so he's getting a couple cards back. So not only is he going to retrieve 4 once he completes the Kessel run, but he's taking some of those cards that he's been stacking on Kessel, which is 2 more. He's taking them and putting them back into his life force. So Ryan has a healthy force pile here with 20 cards. Pulls Force Lightning, which leaves 5 in his reserve. 16 cards in hand, double Rich's hand size. Ryan's going to play Force Lightning. That's an interesting play, maybe to like bait a grab. Or just get rid of an extra card he doesn't need. And figuring that Rich isn't going to grab it. And Rich, yeah, I can't imagine he's going to attack into the Emperor. Probably not in the game plan. So Ryan will get some damage through here. Rich is going to lose first aid from hand, not the combo. Interesting card. I think it's what you throw a card from hand out and it covers 5. It's kind of like sort of like a Mantelian Savret. And Rich is going to lose Talon card from reserve. And I don't want this. Go away. I don't know why this is. There we go. They're tracking as V. Ryan's going to draw a card. Yeah, presumably not know which one it is unless he was doing some serious tracking last turn. Because he's on the 0 side, causes another ping. So yeah, I'd be shocked if Ryan doesn't attack Luke here. And even if Rich is even if Rich is able to evade it, Ryan might be happy just kind of camping out and setting up shop at the cantina, taking away that drain of 2, and also, I would bet he's probably going to grab like It's a Hit if that starts coming out, because that's a brutal card late game with Myrax cycling it and canceling drains for free. I guess you're paying the 1 for Myrax, but yeah, here comes Cad Bane and Aura with Blaster Rifle. Pretty good combination of possibly hit Luke, but also cancel his immunity. He's going to play No Escape to grab Imbalance combo. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I wonder why he wants that, given that it's not like Luke doesn't have his lightsaber on him, unless there's some visual glitch here, but he doesn't have to worry about like starting about the mess combo in the battle, which would be bad. But maybe. Oh, I take that back. He's probably grabbing it, so yeah, he can have the Kessel Run retrieval, and that's pretty good. That's in a way making him lose two. So yeah, that makes sense. Out comes Greedo, who's fodder. He's forfeit 5 because the Cantina adds 1. And you probably anticipate like he could play it from Lost even, right? Didn't he? Oh no, he put it on Use Pal. So he plays Blast the Door Kid. And so everyone's excluded except for Greedo. So that is an evasion for Rich. Obviously Ryan can't sense it because Rich is on his 7 side. Blast Door controls. I feel like it's been like relatively popular lately, which pushes out Blast the Door Kid. But yeah, if your opponent's not playing it, that works. And now Rich is gonna take a card off of Kessel Run, which means he's gonna he's gonna have to retrieve next turn. It's just a matter of when, because he could pluck the card with Han in any phase and then just pay the 4 force to retrieve 4, and then presumably Ryan's gonna play Imbalance Combo to make him lose 2 of those 4, or lose 2 4s, not necessarily of those 4. And Ryan's going to draw a couple more cards. He's up to 16 in hand, 5 active, draws another 2. He's got a monster hand here with 18 cards and 20 cards face down. And so what's he at, 38 versus Rich's 30. So Ryan's up in life force and board control. Let's see, 1/1/1, paying 4. 4 versus like 3. As of now, he's going to retrieve 4. So yeah, I think this is still pretty close. And this is where I think it's super important for Black Sun to have a plan to get rid of Luke, because if Luke's alive and hopping around on the ground, it makes it much more difficult. Yeah, Boskvi is on the fist. Activate and retrieve during activate phase. Yeah. Here comes the Drain of Kessel. Ryan tosses 2 extra Emperors, probably not anticipating he's going to lose that one that's on the table, and even if he does, he's probably got another one in his hand. Rich has 19 force active. He could come down here with like 3 smugglers at the Cantina, that place could get a little rough. Kessel Run V's activated. Chewbacca into hand with Han. That's kind of cool because Chewie's one of the stronger ground characters that they have. He's going to get back Blast Door Kid, Smuggler around, Tracking us, Talent card. What could be kind of scary here for Ryan, I shouldn't say scary, but what would be bad maybe if now, after he uses the Imbalance Combo, now he drops like Luke Saber and has the Sorry About the Mess, and takes out a character in battle. It could get a little dicey there, because again, it's all about Luke. Not just this matchup. Plenty of matchups in Star Wars CCG depend on Luke being on the table at a battleground. Alright, and then Rich lost Blaster Deflection, and this is one of the, I don't know what I'm doing, but hard to scroll here. And Effective Repairs combo with Starship Lev with Long Blaster Deflection were the 2 cards lost for Imbalance Combo. Ryan's going to draw a card. Shadows, which means that Rich has to lose a card. Right? Is that... Oh, never mind. It's on it's Rich's turn. Never mind. So Rich is going to put Eller's Madak, Pilot Instructor, on to Pulsar Skate, my first instinct seeing that is he's probably not going to throw a bunch of dudes at the cantina and pick a fight. So he's probably going to move away to the docking bay. And then Rich is going to be like, alright, I got 4 damage scheduled. Black Sun's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 damage scheduled. You know, presumably, or very possibly, that Cantina Drain's going to get hit with It's a Hit. Or it could be worse. And there we got the new Mara Jade as a passenger on Pulsar Skate. Lightside Mara Jade. Pretty cool that Watch Your Step's getting a new power character. Because really it's Obi-Wan V and some Luke, and then maybe like, then that's always the question of, do you want to put a Han persona on the ground who might be strong, like EPP Han or Solo, or do you want to use like, you know, this Han Solo who's kind of built for the Kessel Run? So he's pretty cool, but you're giving up a good, you know, good ground option. But Watch Your Step's always kind of been, and I shouldn't say always, usually puts Han in space. Like you see, like, I know Worf's has a pretty cool Watch Your Step beats deck that'll use like EPP Han and like Chewie Enraged and like frozen assets, and try to get some pretty big beatdowns in. So I wonder, so Rich is now shuffling some people. Looks like Myrax. Maybe just did that by accident. Who's the passenger on this thing? If I shift click, let's see, it looks like Wedge and Myrax are the pilots. And then Elor's, not really sure what the Elor's move was, but it almost seems like a wasted card, unless he's like fearful that Ryan's going to attack at Tatooine. Just wanted more fodder up there. There's no way, like, Black Sun doesn't usually have like lateral damage, which Elor's cancels, but yeah, not sure exactly what the game. This was also, I think, kind of smart too of Ryan. You know, he didn't deploy the Phalanx Fist here. Maybe it wasn't impossible, but you know, once the Falcon and Pulsar were far away, then he did that. You know, Outrider can still come out here, but if you're Black Sun, you don't want to deploy your ships too soon and allow Watch Your Step to deploy their strong ships and pilots and tricks, and knock you out of space, because that would be really bad for Black Sun. Yeah, maybe he's floating Anakin's lightsaber. That'd be kind of cool. He's got like a weapon lev, or maybe just relies on finding the saber with Must Be Allowed to Speak, or Control Tunnel Vision, or Myrax cycling cards. Like, it's like Rich is just shuffling people around. As a comment here, it looks like, oh, cool. Oh boy, alright, so I want Wedge and Mara piloting, so that's what he was doing. Looks like that's a misplay. Oh no, it's not. He played a few maneuvers. Okay, this is probably a pretty good play from Rich. Played a few maneuvers from Lost, gave the 2 extra hyperspeed, makes this from 5 to 7. So now he moves the ship that he loaded up, and he's going to challenge Ryan here at the system. With Phalanx Fist not having hyperspeed, he can't go anywhere. And Rich probably acknowledging, hey, if I can kick him out of space, especially late game, that kind of takes away these little ground drains of 1 and 1. And now he moves the Falcon over to Tatooine, which just screams that he's got It's a Hit. Because why would you move from a drain 2 to a drain 1 unless it's in conjunction with you then canceling this drain? So yeah. Oops. So we got Ryan's turn 5. Man. Only turn 5. Ryan's got a lot more time, over about 11 minutes more. Ryan's a pretty fast player. Let's see what his plan for this turn is. He activates 14, which is not the max, so he holds back 3. Probably got a plan for those. Like Rich could, what's the maneuver on this thing? He could spin for 6, and then draw a second Destiny. Ryan may or may not have like Jotocast and Guri, who are kind of overlap with Boss because they would take out like an extra Battle Destiny. Menace Fades lost off the top. All Wings lost off the top, which means that's just sitting there. He's only got 1 card on, a useless gesture. So Rich, and there's it to hit. Ryan grabs it. Yeah, definitely don't want that card to cycle if you're Ryan. Just, at least if they're going to play like it could be worse, at least they're using 2 force to do that. And late game that can get kind of a lot of resources. Ryan deploys Tarkin's Bounty to find a card out of 16 in his force pile. Could be like Jabba Space Cruiser, just so he makes sure that he survives in space, doesn't allow himself to get kicked out, or maybe it's some type of tool to help him fight here at the system. But it wouldn't shock me if he just got another ship. He could, and that wouldn't really help him. I was gonna say he could like lose if he shuttles down Bosk. This is not a battleground, but that doesn't really do anything for him because he's still got a battleground site, battleground system. Doesn't do anything for Ryan shutting this off. This system just being a conditional battleground. Wouldn't surprise me if he's going for like hidden weapons maybe. Again, to try to get Luke, or some type of like anti-dodge card. Because if you're, I'm sure Rich has got 2, maybe 3 Lukes, but just to clear him off and get him off the ground too. Because then in essence that kind of makes this the strain of 1 like 0, because it's not likely that Rich would pay 3, although he is activating a bunch. But that can come into play here too. Yeah. Tarkin's Bounty V is one of Dan's player cards. That light's got a big glare. Alright, so Ryan decided on a card. Probably pretty big decision on what card he's going to get, and this seems like a pretty big turn, because he either wants to get Luke off the ground or have some type of way to fortify his space. Ryan still has 15 cards in hand. Draws those shadows, which is going to cause a ping. Again, this is a win and end game. I can't imagine it's not. Rich loses, it could be worse off the top, which is probably something that Ryan really likes to see, to make sure that, and actually maybe even Rich burns the Walkling to get that back, because although Black Sun just has a lot of like little drains of like 1, it might be helpful to keep that Cantina drain in check. And Ryan's going to deploy the Space Cruiser V to the system. There's 5 cards here on Pulsar Skate, but it's only power 7. It does get 2 Destiny, and I think it's power or total will be +1 because of Wedge. Your total battle here is +1. And Rich is going to use Rebel Barrier on the Space Cruiser. And it looks like it goes through. Wouldn't surprise me either that if Rich is going to burn the Walkling to get the Could Be Worse back. Presuming there's no like battle, no cards lost. Here comes, okay, so Forlom V comes out. So yeah, so this is a way for Ryan to make sure, like, hey, I'm not going to give up the system yet. Because even if things go really well for Rich here, he could probably lose Bosk and the Fist, which cover 13. He's probably going to shuttle up one of these two. Maybe not. P59. I think we saw a Blaster Deflection top decked, but so it's in the lost pile, but Rich would need 2 force to play any card from lost pile right now. Place a card stacked on Useless Gesture. So that is a few maneuvers he gets back. What is that? Once per game, I believe, right? Once per game, place a card stacked on Useless Gesture in your lost pile. So he gets a few maneuvers back. It's a battle phase. And this will be interesting. What does... Nothing. No just actions from Rich. Forlom's going to shoot at Luke and cancel his immunity then. And ability oh, this is going to fail, right? Oh, no, he's able to do it. Oh, that's right. Wow, good play by Rich. Yeah, so that makes sense why he did the best smuggler around. Okay, so that's huge for Rich. So yeah, that's something I didn't realize. Yeah, so that because Ryan probably had in his head, okay, he can't play that Blaster Deflection. He doesn't have the 2 force. Deployed a couple guys, and as he draws a 5 and then gets redrawn into another 5, and then maybe he got sidetracked of, oh wait, now he can play the Blaster Deflection because there's one less card. Just that new mechanic of kind of usually that's a one-way street of a Useless Gesture V of cards going onto it and not coming off of it. Yeah, Dan, he's only getting 1 Destiny at Coruscant, but he could, if he has all wings, which I know there's one in the lost pile, he could spin through that and then get the second in effect. So Ryan needs to lose somebody, and Rich has 3 battle damage because Lebo was drawn. Pretty easy decision, I think, for Rich to just peel here. Keep Luke on the table. Keep battle plan intact so you can get a couple more drains through. Now Ryan only has 2 more force to work with. I wonder if he'll shuttle somebody up. If I was him here, I might maybe shuttle the Vigo up just as fodder, and then maybe move Cat over to A-block the drain and also kind of pose a threat to getting rid of Luke. But I'm pretty sure we know, doesn't Chewbacca is in Rich's hand, I'm pretty sure. And we have battle. We have battle at the system. Ryan's going to get 1 Destiny. This thing's immune less than 8. And all wings from hand here would be pretty bad for Ryan. He draws a 4. This thing's immune less than 5. Right? Yeah, so that's not going to do much. He's probably hoping that Rich is going to draw low. He draws a 4. That's going to be +1. So this is going to be a tie. And everybody's immune. So nothing happened there. Yeah, that he's best smuggler around was really big. Because if not for that, it seems like Ryan probably would have been able to get Luke off the table. He's going to shuttle up Zam. Okay. So Ryan has 1 less card face down, but he has 9 more cards in hand. So he's up 8, about to get hit with 2 damage. So after Rich's control phase, he'll be up, or be down 6 in total life in hand. Wonder if Rich's, where's Dash and Outrider? They've got to be in here, right? Somewhere. Chewbacca V's got to be in Rich's hand still. whoops. What happened the other day? Alright, Rich is going to drain for 1. After shuffling his reserve and seeing what was in there with Luke's text. Laser cannon battery from hand. Ryan loses imbalance combo. Here comes Outriders getting flashed. Obviously, he's not doing that unless he knows Dash is in there. And yeah, it looks like Rich is going to throw everything now at the system to try to kick Ryan out of there. With Lebo. Oh, so not Dash. And Kira as passenger, so her text is when there's a battle or force train initiated, right? Yeah, opponent loses 1, so that's going to be a ping of 1. Out comes Captain Lando. Lebo is on... Oh, Lando's going on the Cantina. Interesting. So that gets a pull. Might be like a run, Luke, run. He's only deployed 2. He can also, if a battle is just initiated here, exchange a card with any interrupt of 4. And he could also just get like picked up, right? Once per game if you've completed a castle run mate. So you can even do that like in battle. That's kind of cool. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if Ryan maybe had a hard time finding like Django and hidden weapons and Boba. Because those are some of the better ways to get Luke. I mean, of course, Henry Baby V is a card. But yeah, the blaster deflection on Forlom was really big. So Rich only has 2 cards in hand, but it looks like he's about to bring the pain at Coruscant. So here comes the ping. And yeah, the power isn't bad, but he's probably got a spin. Or he could definitely play it from Lost Pile. I don't think he's done that this turn yet, right? So he could spin for 6, draw another one, and he could probably knock out, one of these combos of ship and pilot, which might not be crazy, because then maybe Ryan goes into kind of like runaway mode and just to satisfy battle plan. There's hidden weapons from hand. Maybe he moves the space cruiser to Corellia. And maybe Rich just has to keep chasing him around, but both these ships are pretty loaded. Well, I shouldn't say that. The one only has Kira and Lebo. So Destinies will be interesting here. Yeah, here comes the spin from hand, so he's not even going to have to pay the 2 from Lost. And then Rich draws a 1. So he's going to have a total of 7, which will be just enough to get rid of 2 things. I guess even without, he could have drawn a 0 there, and he still got to get rid of Puzzle's Boss because only forfeit 5. Zam is only forfeit 4. So that kind of does, whether he drew a total of whether you do a total of like 5 or, 13, it's probably the same result. Or very similar result of Ryan losing Bosk and the Fist. Jedi Lev gets played from Lost for 2 force. He's going to take Obi-Wan V into hand. So my guess is that, unless I miss something, that the 2 cards in hand are Obi-Wan V and Chewbacca V. Moving to attack position until battle destiny is 11. Because Wedge adds 1. So he draws a 3 every... Is this immune? I don't think it's... Oh, no. Yeah, Lebo's piloting, right? Yeah, wow. So everything's immune for Rich. And Ryan owes 11 attrition, which will then, of course, cover the battle damage. Alright, so Ryan loses the Fist, which means it's less of a liability of a ship that has no hyperspeed. And gets stuck there. And it doesn't get Ryan stuck, kind of throwing good money after bad. He moves Luke away from Forlum. If I was Rich, I probably would have moved one of those ships to Corellia. Because it's very... Ryan's definitely going to run away to Corellia. Whereas if Rich moved like Outrider over there, even though it's the weaker of the ships, he could then come down with somebody and draw 2 Battle Destiny, which I guess he could, because isn't Lebo a smuggler? He could draw 2 Battle Destiny against it and then kick Ryan out of space next turn, probably. Or at least force Ryan to throw a bunch of fodder onto the space cruiser. Because Ryan's got to think pretty seriously about how important battle plan is going to be to satisfy the rest of this game. He'll do... 2 damage here, plus a Shadows Ping. Alright, looks like 16 versus 16. Both players have 16 face down. Ryan has 9 more cards in hand, but I think this board control is starting to eke towards Rich's favor. Ryan plays, they're still coming through. Looks at a card. What does he do? Chooses to return to top of force battle. So that's a card he wanted, I guess. It's definitely not a card he didn't want, because then he would have just moved it to the bottom. Draws it, causes Rebel Barrier to be top decked. Put some drain through it. Actually, you can wonder now, if Ryan can just play cat and mouse in space, he might be able to win. I guess the scariest thing for Ryan right now would be another Kessel run, probably. Dodge goes off the top. Not the worst thing for Rich, because now he's got that in his lost pile, and he could use it if he needs to. Ryan's going to battle here at the Cantina, and then Rich is just going to return Lando to hand. What is that? Was that once per game? It's got to be. Once per game, yeah, if you've completed him, you return Lando to hand, so you can't just keep deploying him and taking him into hand. But yeah, as a way to block that drain at 2, that's, I guess that'll do it. Yeah, I wonder... Yeah, maybe I'm crazy, but I think moving that Outrider to Corellia would have been huge play. Because then Ryan's only has so many force to work with. Who knows how many characters he has in hand, if any are even pilots, or any have high forfeit. It would have been a pretty good opportunity, or a pretty big chance for Rich to maybe knock Ryan out of space. But maybe, for all we know, Ryan has another ship in his hand. He can just go to Kessel, play the cat and mouse game between Parsec 7 and 8. Yeah, Justin, but I think he can do that at any time, right? In battle or not in battle. So remember, Ryan threw away hidden weapons. So my guess, if he's got Jodocast coming out now, he's got a second one too. Dodge is in the lost pile, but Rich would need to spend 3 force to play anything from the lost pile, so that's not happening. I really think that Rich's hand is Chewbacca v. Lando, Captain Lando. Who did I say? I think he's. I think it's another character, right? But I mean, who knows? Maybe he cycled Chewie at some point from Irax. Here comes IG-88, so that's still 1 battle destiny. You wonder what trick that Rich has here. He can definitely cause a redraw. If there's a hidden weapons draw that Rich doesn't like, here comes a battle. Let's see if there's any just actions. Yeah. Alright, so here's the hidden weapons. Does Rich have to hear me, baby? Probably not. With only, I think we know 2 of the cards. Gets the 3. Rich is definitely going to redraw this, so Luke doesn't get captured. Because I think if Luke's captured, I think it's GG. I think Ryan then would have it. And he draws a 4, so he's going to hit Luke. Which between hit, immediately lost, and captured is probably the best thing for Rich. So both these guys have really bad forfeit. They're only 3 each. Draws a 2. So there's definitely not going to be overflow, obviously. But it's going to flip Ryan here. He draws a 2. So that's pretty good for Ryan also, because he could probably just like throw away Jodo. Or he could throw away IG-88, and maybe he might be able to like wipe into that hidden weapons again. But yeah, that might be getting too cute. To threaten IG-88 and 4-LOM on 2 of those locations is pretty good for Ryan. That there's no real good place now for no truly safe place for Rich to go on the ground. And maybe this is an intentional play of Ryan not putting out the sewer. Maybe it's in his hand. Maybe it was, who knows? I'm not the sharp. It might have even been top decked at one point. Maybe I wasn't paying attention, but interesting that it's not out. I wanted to take Lando in case I missed it. Yeah, so battle ends. Checking my laptop battery. It says it's using significant energy. Using the new UI, so I have 30% left, so hopefully I'm okay. Brian has almost 11 and a half more minutes. And then he's going to run away. Yeah, Obi, that's the card. Thank you, Decrepit All. Yeah, I knew it was 3 characters. Obi, Chewie, and Lando. But he's only got, at most 14 force, which he probably maybe 13. He could come down with 2 of those guys. He would try to beat up on the Emperor. Ryan could probably get that Force Lightning and zap one of the scrubby guys. Here we got Walkling to Luke. He could definitely Myrax back into finding Luke. Throw Luke to one of those 2 Tatooine sites that are not occupied by droids. And you can flip them back. So that's going to be the plan here. But now you wonder, is Rich going to pay 3 to drain for 2 at Coruscant? Or is he going to have more priorities for this turn? Because even if he throws Luke at either of these sites, he's either then going to also need to save some force for some tricks, or you use that force for putting out another character to be with Luke. So let's see. Imagine he's going to activate down to 3, do Myrax, which is going to cost a force, of course. Looks like we're coming down the home stretch here. This is turn 6 for Rich. Ryan's up 2 force face down cards and up 6 cards in hand, but might be tossing a few cards here to drains. Yeah, I think Rich is maybe kicking himself for not moving Outrider away. So he could still probably corner Ryan, but it extends the game, gives him another turn, gives Ryan a turn of free damage. Or free force drains, I should say. Hyperspeed 4, it can't reach Tatooine. This is one of the reasons why I considered playing Maul Sith Infiltrator initially, because that is Hyperspeed 6, and you could bounce back and forth from 1 to 7. It's like this exact matchup is why I considered it, because then you're not trapped in between Coruscant and Corellia, or Tatooine and Kessel. With Maul Sith Infiltrator, you could just keep running around in space, because Watch Your Step space is always going to be stronger and better and more persistent than Black Suns. But, you know, holding battle plan late game is really important. Alright, so Lebo's going to cause a force to be lost. Kira's going to ping. So yeah, I think it probably makes sense to pay 3 to drain 2 here. Ryan loses U3PO, which, yeah, he's probably not going to come in handy here. Best case scenario, you're spending 3 and a card to stop a drain of 1 for a couple turns, but here comes the drain of 2 plus the ping. So Ryan's got to toss some more cards. Very much expect Luke to go to one of these 2 sites this turn, the Moisture Farm or the Docking Bay. Probably the Moisture Farm. It's probably, Rich is probably pretty happy that Cad and Forlom and Aura are all already committed to locations. So yeah, the Moisture Farm might not be that vulnerable for Rich if he goes there with Luke. Alright, so he's going to throw the bounty onto Luke for, you know, obviously not a threat to battle this turn, but just to kind of, you know, hopefully Ryan's attempt to... Actually, I don't know if I like that, because you're burning that card solely to try to use it to retrieve a card. And you get the peak, but when there's no risk to battle... Oh, I'm an idiot. I'm a huge idiot. That's really big, actually, because now he can move Forlom in the control phase. Nice play by Ryan. And then if that's the case, he can then, you know, fire Forlom, cancel Luke's text, get rid of his immunity. IG-88 adds Battle Destiny so he can get 1. As long as he draws a 1, you know, unless there's any tricks. Rich now is probably going to make a decision. Do I move in front of him at Corellia? Or do I need to save this force for my blaster deflection? Or maybe that one's already been played from Lost, but for the dodge or some other evasion. So we'll see if he goes all the way through. Yeah, thank you, Adam. Yeah, definitely value there and putting Shizer's bounty out. And yeah, I think Rich is doing the math now of if I move Outrider over, or even if I move Pulsar Skate over, then I only have 2 force, and then I can't play anything from Lost to help Luke out. And like I said, I think we're pretty sure that the hand is 2 characters. It's Chewie and it's likely Chewie and Lando. So he moves the skate over. And alright, so then he gets back to Kessel, which is free because of the Tatooine text. Presumably Ryan's probably going to run over here. This would draw 2 Destiny. So Ryan's priority this turn, I would think, is make sure I don't get knocked out of space and get Luke off the table. Maybe some type of fodder here onto the Space Cruiser and another character of some sort. No, I guess he doesn't even need a character. He needs like some type of anti-evasion to make sure that Luke doesn't weasel out of Forlom and IG-88's grasp. Yeah, lots of math here, because I got to think about, I need to spend the force to move Forlom, right? That's not free. The regular move to an adjacent site where there's a bounty. So yeah, 1 force there, he's got to save a force to battle, he's got to save a force to run away. Yeah, the whole shebang. But in the meantime, he's going to chip away with drains of 2/1/1, probably draw a card, which is another card from his force pile, but just trying to push the damage through. All wings gets tossed from hand, escape pod combo off the top. Pretty good finish here. Again, hopefully you guys see Rich is 5-0, and Ryan's 4-1. Ryan's one loss was to Apollyon. I think he was playing What You Have Learned and lost to ASM maybe, or I'm not sure what it was. Alright, so Forlom's going to make the move over. Here comes Zuckus. Ooh. Alright, that's big. So this is not a battleground now, right? I just got to think about this. Yeah, battleground, no. Because light side doesn't control, and there's no blacks on agent here. So Ryan just checks his reserve deck to see what he's got. 3 cards face down. I wonder if he battles the Moisture Farm first. Because if he can get Luke off the table, he flips Shelly. Okay, so Shelly goes out for 3. He can retrieve a droid for free because Aim High's not out. What droid am I... Oh, U-3PO's in there. Oh! Am I missing something? When deployed, may search your lost pile and move 1 card there to the top of the pile. Wonder why he didn't do that. Unless the U-3PO get retrieved or something? There's definitely a droid in there. Alright, so here comes the battle. He's going to cancel Luke's text. Rich does not have evasion because we think he has 2 characters in his hand. And he doesn't have enough force to play anything from Lost. So Luke's going to go away here. Caesar's Bounty's going to give Ryan a peek. And he's going to retrieve a force. Here comes a 3. Tough for Rich because now he's only going to get rid of 1 of them. That's 2 times where if you just drew a 4, you could get rid of 2 characters. But Ryan got fortunate. So he's just going to toss Forlom. Luke's going to go. And frankly, if Rich doesn't have another Luke he can find or get out, I think this is over. Because he's going to... Now... He could throw Obi out to just get Battle Plan turned on. But that means he's only going to get 1 drain through at Kessel. And Ryan's probably going to be able to stabilize here. Here comes the flip. Remember, this is now attrition +1 here, because it's blocks on agent. Unless the bug came back, which I don't think it did. The infamous AOBS bug. So yeah, that... I think 2 plays were really big here of... Although maybe Ryan, who knows, for all we know, Ryan said that Zuckus the entire game. But I think moving somebody over here would have been big. And then also that Caesar's Bounty was huge to allow Forlom to move over. Just like it looked like a pretty big play early in the game to play that best smuggler around to get that card off. So Ryan draws a 5, which is going to be 6 attrition, which is going to get rid of both pilots because Kira's only 3 +2 from the objective. Yeah, so that's really big for Ryan. He loses nobody. He now is going to comfortably satisfy Battle Plan. No risk of really being kicked out of space. He's probably going to move the Space Cruiser over here. And then he's going to have, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 damage scheduled for his next turn. And Rich might pay 3 to drain 2 at Kessel, deploy Obi to turn on Battle Plan, and then he's going to have to eat another, huge turn of damage. And And that might be it. Not that it's going to come into play, but it looks like Ryan's up around 13 minutes in game clock time. Coming in for a landing here. So Ryan now peeks at the top 5 cards of Rich's reserve deck just to get more information. He's going to run away with Space Cruiser. He's got none left. Of course, he can wipe to get another force back in case he's got like a barrier or something, just to make sure nothing too wild happens. But what was I missing? Oh, was Lebo? Is Lebo like forfeit 4 or something? I guess I was thinking he was like 3. That must have been it. So yeah, Kira survived. Maybe Lebo was like deploy 2, forfeit 4 or something. Oh, excuse me. Rich is going to Myrax to presumably try to find something that can help him flip the script here, but he's down 7 in hand and life, as in a much worse board state. So yeah, if it gets played out, it looks like it's probably going to be like Ryan by like 12, 13, but I don't know if we're going to get to that point. But you never know. There could always be some tricks. Ryan's going to pull Force Lightning. Maybe the one trick that Rich has, he could put down Chewie and Lando and try to overflow like Emperor. Probably not going to happen. But even then, even if he makes Ryan peel like a couple or 5 even, that's not going to change this, I don't think. And Ryan probably has a kick anyway at this stage of the game. Okay, alright, so turn 7, activate phase. Rich could still activate more if he wants. Yeah, this is looking like a W for Ryan. Who got a pretty big bump to his SOS, defeating a 5-1 player in Rich. Ryan cycles a card back with the 7 side of his objective, peeks at the 1 card in his force pile. Yeah, Zuckuss and Mist Hunter causing problems for 20-some years now. What a strong card. And it's easy to say, oh yeah, everyone knows this card exists, everyone plays around it, we just anticipate it. And then in a deck that's, a very strong space deck, this happens. Not to knock on Rich, a lot of people can be in that spot because the game goes along, you're kind of getting there, and that's where there's an opening, and then boom, down comes Zuckuss. Yeah, so Rich is saying, GG, well played, no path for me here. Yeah, he just doesn't have the cards in hand or cards in life to change the trajectory of the damage. So Ryan wins. Congratulations to rsersen. Very good game with him and Rich. And yeah, we'll see if... for all we know, nothing's certain. There could be, like I said, 10 5-1s. So there could be 2 players that get out. But I'd be very, 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 very shocked if Ryan doesn't get in with the strength of schedule indications that Bill was saying and that are probably evident. Like I said, his only loss was to a Pion who went 5-1. Rich might still get in. Like I said, only 2, 3 at most. 5-1s aren't going to get in. Yeah, Rich says he might be. I wonder what happened. So, that's kind of, with strength of schedule, sometimes some of the opponents you defeat in your earlier games, they just don't do really well. Ooh, one of his opponents went 0-6. Eek. Yeah, that's going to hurt. Yeah. So yeah, we will see though. But yeah, I'm going to wrap up. Thank you for everyone for tuning in and interacting with the chat. Again, congrats to Ryan, and we'll look forward to how this Jawa Cup evolves into a top 8. I know games can happen all the way through Monday, the 3rd, and then we'll start getting some top 8 pairings, and it should be a really exciting home stretch here. So thanks for everyone for tuning in. Take care. And make sure you watch Hollow Theater tomorrow, 9 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Pacific. All right, take care. Bye.